the new Tatula 100. This reel is absolutely amazing.
Here it is, the new Tatula 100. We're talking a reinforced brass gear that makes it even stronger than the previous Tatula. It's amazing.
That is awesome. Unbelievable reel, ultra smooth, super durable, super lightweight, crisp. Now I'll be able to have one reel across the board. I'm excited about that. Plus, the thing looks bitchin'.
What's up, guys? Morgan Prominence here with Hobie Fishing. Welcome to a live broadcast that we have with one of our very special partners, Daiwa Fishing. Today we have Marc Mills on with us, and we're going to talk a lot about fishing reels and kayak fishing. And Marc's got some great words and wisdom that he's going to help us out with to understand why Daiwa makes the best reels in the world, in my opinion, for kayak fishing. So with no further ado, Marc, come on in, man. And welcome.
All right, Morgan, my main man, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Thank you for allowing to be part of this Hobie community Facebook Live deal. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is the first time we're doing it, so I figured I better call someone that I know pretty well in case we mess things up. So
I'll probably mess things up. I do that all the time.
Well, cool. Well, I really enjoyed watching that little opening video of the Tatula, and I know you guys have a lot of fun stuff in the works. You're working hard to build product and get it out there. Marc, who are you? And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also Daiwa?
Yeah, sure. No problem. I'd love to. Fortunately, I've got one of the best jobs in the world, hands down. I'm lucky. I've been very fortunate in my career. I've been in the fishing industry for 32 years, so I'm not that old. I'm 47. But I've done everything that there is to do in the fishing industry. It's been awesome. I've worked for Daiwa here for a little over 5 years now. My title at Daiwa is Marketing Field Manager. What that says is that I actually get the opportunity to travel around the country, get to deal with all the pro staff guys, kayak guys, saltwater guys, onshore guys, offshore guys, pro bass anglers, all that cool stuff. I get to deal with them, and I also get to go out and actually look at products and kind of come up with product ideas to bring to the Daiwa headquarters to future develop stuff. What is the next thing that anglers are going to want? What are we missing in our lineup? Will we make money on it? All that kind of stuff. And it's been tough this year, we all know, due to COVID, but we still have a great network of individuals, and it's a really a great job. It's one of those things when I got in the fishing industry, it was a kind of a cool thing. It's like anybody, and you guys probably that are listening do the same thing. When you'd wake up in the morning before a fishing trip or try to go to bed before a fishing trip, all you could do is think about fishing. That's how I was. And that's why I wanted the job. That's what I did. And I worked hard to work for, two other competitors in the industry other than Daiwa. So I know the ins and outs probably better than anybody in the community when it comes to that. So it's excellent.
Nice. Yeah. Marc lives just up the road from me here in California, and Daiwa is basically one of our sister companies, and everything that we do with Hobie Outdoor Adventures TV show, the Hobie Bass Open Series, the Hobie Fishing Worlds, Daiwa's been a huge part of it and a huge supporter and promoter. So we're happy to have you guys on. So you guys, where's Daiwa located, headquarters?
So our headquarters are in Japan, but in the United States, we're in Cypress, California. So Southern California, Cypress area, which is from where I live about 30 miles, but actually it's literally down the street where I grew up as a kid. Like, it's a mile from my old house, which is all kind of neat, going out to lunch to all the old places. But we're there. It makes it really easy for the Southern California angler to, come in and get their products if they're having any type of issues, service behind the counter and all that. We're in a very fortunate fishing area, especially for kayaking. As you know, San Diego, we've got good offshore kayaking. You're seeing more and more bass tournaments in Southern California for kayak anglers. So it's a great kayak community as well. You've got Huntington Beach area, you've got Long Beach area, you've got San Diego, Dana Point. All those areas are great for launching kayaks. Yeah,
tons of area to fish here. Well,
yep.
Everyone that's tuning in, if you guys have questions for Marc while we're doing this, please put them in the comments. And there's also something very exciting. Marc, why don't you tell our viewers, you're going to make it rain today? with some prizes.
I guess so, a little bit. So we're actually going to do two different prizes. So you're going to either get a Lexa Win 300 or a Tatula SV. And we wanted something, the Tatula is more bass focused or inshore guys that are, in the Gulf region or wherever, because I know you've got a broad spectrum of anglers. And then the Lexa Win Reel 300 is a little bit more saltwater driven. It could be for, guys in the Northeast, guys snook fishing in Florida. So we wanted something that would, for both of them. So you're going to get both of those reels. Pick which reel you want. Make sure in that you put where you're from so we can pick the winners tonight. You'll get an either or. We will be picking two winners for that, but it's just a bonus. And like I said, we appreciate being part of you, being part of your Hobie community and everything that you guys do too. It's a great partnership.
Well, cool. That's very kind of you guys to be giving back. So guys, just to be clear, if you would like to win one of those prizes, in the comments, put your name, where you're from, and which reel. If you forget the names of the reels, it's a Lexa Win 300 or a Tatula SV, or you can just put fresh or saltwater, depending on which one you prefer to win. But Mark, let's jump into a couple things. So you're a kayak fisherman. Do you have any fun stories or anything? Kind of, how did you get into kayak fishing, and how does that play into your life a little bit?
So I don't kayak fish as much now, but I was literally in that first generation of kayak anglers, let's say, 10 or 12 years ago when it got so popular. I loved it. It was the opportunity to, and you've seen it this year, get outside, do your own thing. It was quiet. You could paddle out. You could, catch calico bass. You could catch sand bass, spotted bay bass. And I really enjoyed that. And I moved from doing just that kind of stuff. I got into Plastic Navy, which was kind of a kayak circuit for tournament fishing. I do fish a lot of freshwater bass tournaments and saltwater bass tournaments now. And then I think probably one of my funnest trips that I've ever go on, I did 6 of them, and I sponsored it. We would go out to San Clemente Island, and we do a mothership kayak trip to San Clemente Island. That was the best trip ever. Catching yellowtail, catching rockfish, calico bass, paddling up to the island when there was no swell. And it was just a great opportunity. And it was really, really super fun. So those are kind of some of my best things. Trout fishing's awesome too. I think there's no better way to catch trout and being on a lake early in the morning when it's quiet in that October, November in California and paddling around. It's awesome. Cool.
Well, yeah, same thing for me. And I know yourself, you've gotten to travel all over the country, all over the world. And we have viewers tuning in from everywhere today. So welcome everyone. And we want to hear your redfish questions, flounder, your muskie, your trout, your salmon, everything that you guys can throw at us. Would love to hear what you want to know about. So let's talk freshwater fishing to kind of get things off. So I do a little bit of it myself. I use a lot of the Tatula reels, and for my spinning setups, usually ballistics. I use them for saltwater, inshore, and freshwater. But let's talk about 2 or 3 rigs. Like if you were to pick one Daiwa baitcaster, what would it be for bass fishing?
Well, ideally, that's kind of one of the reels. The Tatula SV, hands down, is a great reel. It's easy to cast. It really, I hate to say it doesn't backlash, but it really reduces your backlashing. Just the way the SV system works. On a kayak, difficult.
What is SV?
SV is like super versatile casting, and what it does is that actually I have an SV spool here. And a side plate. I can show you guys real quick. So the spool goes in here. This is tough to do, on camera, but I'm going to do my best, analogy of it. So what it does is this is your side plate. This is the spool. What it does, we have an air brake system on the SV, and at a high, centrifugal force of the spool will cause this little piece to move forward. As you can see, it's kind of spring loaded. And what that does is it slides out, and it actually creates more braking than what you set the reel for, to reduce the overall inertia and speed of the reel. That keeps you from getting backlashes, especially on the initial cast, and then once it hits the water. So literally, if you set this right, you could make your cast, take your thumb off the spool, and when it hits the water, it won't backlash. Plus, you'll still get the distance that you need. And that makes it nice. Also, if you're casting, say, a crankbait or a spinnerbait that's fairly non-aerodynamic, as it does what's weird stuff in the air, that SV system controls that, reducing any type of backlash that you would get on that. So it's a very great system to have.
Yeah, I remember you showing that to me one year at ICAST, and I was like, that's impossible. There's no way you could do that. And then couple the SV system, you guys also have the T-Wing system on there, right? So how does that work?
Yeah, so it's kind of the whole system. So we have the T-Wing system, and it's kind of still all part of the same scenario. So the T-Wing system, and this is actually the new reel that we'll show you. See that aperture that's right there? In free spool, that opens up. Every reel in the industry uses a round level wind. And what happens is that once the line's over here, that line has to go back and forth. And every time that line goes back and forth with just a round level wind, it reduces how far the reel's going to cast due to friction. But what it also does is that when your line goes back and forth, your line slows down. When it slows down, your spool does not. Your spool doesn't know that for the most part. And what happens is that that's where you start to create backlashes. That's where you have to thumb your spool on a lot of reels. This really eliminates that because it allows the line to travel outside of that. Now, when you put it in gear, you're just in that little tight spot. It keeps a nice even line lay on your reel. So that is patents we have. That's innovation that Daiwa has. We've done a great job. We have a great group of engineers. These are the things that we look at to making the products. What's next? What's better? And what's going to separate us from the competition?
Awesome. Well, I also know from a kayak angler's perspective, some of us like to spend a lot of money on our gear, and some of us, prefer to go a cheaper route. But it seems like that Tatula range is right there, kind of in the middle. It's a high-end product, but it's really well priced. So that's a really cool setup.
Yeah, MSRP on those range of about $199, right in that range. Which it's to get a good reel, you're looking at right at that price point. That's kind of the sweet spot. Yeah. You can get all the features that you want at that $199. And all that. And what's nice is that it's a conventional system, meaning that and manual system. It works off of springs. There's no DC. There's nothing of that nature. So it's going to work for you time and time again on that.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's switch gears. It seems like that'll cover you different gear ratios and stuff like that. Put in different line on it for a lot of different bait casting scenarios.
Yeah, gear ratios is all depending on the technique that you're doing. On that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about kind of a go-to spinning? Like, what size would you pick? Is there a model that you would recommend for someone in that like intermediate to experienced level?
Yeah, you know what? You hit really kind of the perfect scenario there. The ballistic is really a great reel to have in that price point range. It's very lightweight. We also do Fuego. It's a little bit less. It's $99. But both of those reels have a feature on them that is really good for kayak fishing, and that feature is called mag seal. And what that is on the mag seal reels, where your main shaft and your rotor meet, water can travel down into the gearbox. And what mag seal does, it's an actual oil. It's an oil that's magnetically charged that doesn't allow water, air, or contaminants to get down into the one-way roller bearing or into the gear set itself. And being that you're on a kayak, it's wet, you're getting spray, you're getting paddle spray, all that. It still doesn't do good for your reel to go underwater. So that does happen a lot with kayak fishing. I understand that. You grab a fish, you don't realize that your reel's 3 feet underwater. It won't help you there, but it'll help you when you're paddling out if you're careful with your reels. And that's important.
Mark, we don't paddle, right? We only
that
paddle.
Is true. That is true. You paddle. I forgot about that. It's all pedals. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that's the benefit of that. And that's the benefit about Hobie kayaks, that you can paddle and you don't have to hold trying to troll. So there is benefits to that too. I forgot all about that now.
I know, right?
So
we're going to get you back into it.
I know. When I did those trips, they were all over to San Clemente Island. They were all on Hobies, and I did enjoy that, especially when it gets windy. I know that for a fact. So,
yes,
but yeah, those are the features that we have that do that.
That mag seal, I've seen it again at being lucky enough to work in the industry and go to shows and stuff. But if you guys want to check it out, just Google Daiwa mag seal and check out how you can like run a magnet around it, and the oil literally like just does crazy stuff. It's really, really cool, and it makes so much sense. Another amazing piece of technology that you guys are integrating into your reels that you know, like one thing for me before I even started working for Hobie and necessarily using Daiwa on a promotional standpoint, I bought a lot of Daiwas. I owned a lot of Daiwas, and I could not find a reel that could stand up to the abuse that I put my Daiwas through. And you know, they're high quality, they have amazing drags, gears, bearings, and you can abuse them very much, and they're going to hold up to stuff. I had a Daiwa Soltis 4500 spinning reel that I probably traveled around with for 4 years. I took 3 trips to Panama with it and caught so many fish. I was switching the reel handle from side to side throughout the day, and I still use that reel today. It's amazing. Yeah. So,
and that Saltis actually has mag seal. That's one of the first reels that we put mag seal
there
in.
You go.
And that really does help. And actually, that whole technology came from the aerospace industry. Believe it or not, NASA used it. I hate to use the word NASA, but they really did. They're the ones that used it on the wrists and stuff. So of your aerospace outfits. So you could turn your wrists and it wouldn't trap any air or anything would get into it. So it's a very good, really well done system, and it works good. We have a patent on it. Nobody else can use it. And it's taken a few years to catch on, but like anglers like yourself have realized what a benefit that is.
Nice. Well, cool. I think that gives us a pretty good start on freshwater stuff. If anyone has more questions, put them in the comments. And just to remind you, if you're just joining us, we are giving away 2 Daiwa reels, Alexa 300 and a Tatula SV. Put your name in the comments, where you're from, and what reel you hope to win. We're going to do a draw kind of halfway through this, which will be what? How far are we in here, Mark? I can't tell because I'm on my cell phone. Oh wait,
probably about 20 minutes into the game. About 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah. So let's chat for a few more minutes. Do we want to go into maybe some saltwater inshore stuff? Let's talk kind of redfish, flounder, speckled trout, or if you're here on the West Coast, maybe some inshore bay fishing. If you're up north, you know, salmon fishing, rock fishing, that kind of stuff. What would you recommend for someone looking for a setup there?
Well, if you're fishing in the bay or in the Gulf or anything like that nature, we make 2 really great reels. We make the coastal reel, and then we make the coastal SV. So the SV technology that we talked about, we make that in a saltwater reel. And what we do different in both of those reels, we actually use our CRBB, which is our corrosion resistant ball bearings. They go through another process of protection, really reducing any type of corrosion that you might find. And especially in the Gulf has much more salinity than the Pacific Ocean. So you really need those CRBBs to, you know, get you through that day in and day out of guys that are, you know, kayak fishing through in the Gulf region from Louisiana and Texas and all that stuff area. It works also very good for our spotted bay bass here in Southern California.
Yeah. I've been walking the beaches early in the morning before work and after and using a coastal and getting splashed by waves and things like that, and a fabulous reel for that kind of stuff. So well, cool. Well, I think let's why don't we look at those comments and see if we have a winner selected before we jump into a little kind of commercial break where what was that video on, Mark? Jumping into like Nico rigging or something like that for freshwater?
Talk a little bit. You said we do rods, reels, lures, gear, accessories. We do all that kind of stuff, you know, and that Nico rig's a great bait for pretty much. We had a thing. Is there 100 ways to rig a Nico rig? I don't think there's 100, but there's a good 20 different ways to rig a Nico bait.
Nice. Well, awesome. Let's see if we're ready to jump into that.
Okay.
If we're not yet, well,
Joey Randall just put something up there.
Oh, he did? Nice. Well, while we're waiting, if you want to jump into basically, you know, the Nico rigs and stuff like that, talking about baits. I know Satoshi also, who's from Japan, and he's involved in a lot of your guys' lure manufacturing stuff like that. I was just out maybe like 3 weeks ago, throwing the new Saltiga poppers that you guys make, and
my favorite.
you kind of talked me into I'm going with one of those 5,000 size Solstice with the J braid. And man, we had bluefin tuna breezing along the surface, and we're getting up in front of them and casting those poppers. And man, it was insane. So that was the first time I got to use one of Satoshi's poppers there. And, you know, like you said, you guys make rods, reels, line, everything in between. So kind of a one-stop shop for everything.
We do. We've really expanded into that whole category. And yeah, Sudoshi does a wonderful job. He's in charge of lures and line. And from our J braid that we do, our 8X Grand, our 4X, we just came up with the new Samurai braid. And then we also our fluorocarbons that we're doing there as well. So all that has been very successful on that end. Along with the lures, bringing some freshwater lures. All the Nico baits are actually made by Yamamoto. We have a great relationship with them as well. So they're all poured in Page, Arizona. It's our design, but they do all the pouring. We use all their plastic for that, and it's been a good collaboration with them as well. That's it. The one thing that's cool about Daiwa is that we have good relationships in the industry, such as this one right here. We do a lot of stuff with St. Croix. Like I said, Gary Yamamoto, all those guys, we really work really well and close with them on that.
Yeah. Well, check the chat on your computer there, Mark, and see if our in-house team has sent you our first winner.
We did. It looks like it's Joey Randall, and he's looking for the freshwater, so the Tatuna SV, but I know where he's from, so that's the only thing that I don't have on there. But
cool.
Joey Randall.
Well, awesome. Congrats, Joey. We'll get in touch with you and get that Daiwa Tatula shipped out. So there still is a Win Lexa 300 available to win. So we're going to jump to that Nico rig video, and we'll be right back. And stay with us. We'll be drawing that other winner before the end of the show.
Sounds good. Pretty good video there. I liked it.
Yeah,
good.
I think if there was maybe one bait in the world that I had to travel around with, it would be a Nico rig. You can rig that thing in a lot of ways.
A lot of different ways, man. No doubt about it. And that Nico Macho, the fat one, I'll tell you what, that's a great spotted bay bass lure right there. Put a darter head on it, lights out.
Well, welcome back, guys. If you're just joining us, we have Marc Mills in-house here from Daiwa. We're talking kayak fishing and reels, and we are giving away a Lexa 300. We already gave away a Tatula SB. In addition to that, if you missed out on winning a Tatula, we will be giving away another one at the Bassmaster Classic Expo next week. We'll be in Houston, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas. I don't even know where I'm going next week. So
I know when you start traveling as much as you and I do, we don't even know. We just end up there.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for the support, and we really appreciate it. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. We've talked about freshwater bass fishing on rivers and lakes, kind of setups for that, some inshore stuff. Let's talk about something that is probably my passion, and that's getting on my Hobie kayak and going far out there, looking for those pelagic species like yellowtail or roosterfish or Cabera snappers or king mackerel, tarpon. What does Daiwa have to offer for that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of opportunity for that. We in the last few years we were so focused. Daiwa's been around for about 60 years. We were so focused on freshwater that in the last 5 years, especially since I've came on board and the other team members came on board, we're really looking more towards expanding that into the saltwater market. And we just introduced new Saltiga lever drags. Great opportunity there for slow trolling baits. So if you are slow trolling baits for, let's say, roosterfish or Cabera snapper, lighten up the drags, start paddling around, and you're good to go. That works really well. A lot of spinning tackle. We introduced a new BGMQ. This is kind of the new BGMQ, as you can see. This is a cutaway version. Look at the gear that's on that. It's massive.
Wow.
You still get the same gear ratio, but that massive gear gives you more power, more torque, and better durability on that reel. So that's been a great seller. That came out a few months back, and it's just we can hardly keep it in stock, and especially this year. This year, fishing industry, we're so fortunate. But it's incredible. But it's a really good reel, and it's holding up very well. So we got a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, I think one reel that I personally love too is just the Daiwa Soltis conventional star drag reel. Those Saltigas, I actually purchased a couple, and I'm gonna take them fishing for bluefin tuna, and I can't wait to put them to use. But for me personally, fishing out here in Southern California, I've caught more yellowtail or sea bass on a Daiwa Soltis, the old black and gold one, and now there's a newer look to them. What's the difference between kind of those two looks or models?
So for the most part, between we make a Saltiga star drag and the Saltis star drag, and you're talking about the Saltis star drag, correct? Basically, they're very similar reels. The difference between the Saltiga and the Saltis is the Saltiga is a machine frame. The Saltis is a die cast frame. Both still very good. But that Saltis die cast makes it a little bit more affordable, and it can be a little bit easier on the pocketbook for a kayak angler that could flip over, could get wet, could drop, whatever. But they're a really great reel. I like star drags personally better than I do the lever drags. Great for casting and just an all-around good reel. What we've did difference between the black and gold ones and now the blue and black ones is we've actually made it a one-piece frame instead of a one-piece frame and on a bolt-in side plate. It's all a side plate and frame all together. That keeps all the bearings and the gears in precise alignment. That's what gives you the durability and the smoothness on that. So that's one of the biggest features right there.
Very cool. Okay. Well, yeah. With that in mind and talking saltwater, guys, just don't forget, if you haven't entered yet and you're just joining us, put your name, where you're from, and you'll be entered to win the Daiwa Lexa baitcaster. And also wanted to touch on a couple other things. We have a TV show called Hobie Outdoor Adventures. You can find it at Hobie.com. We've actually been filming it for about 10 years. And since we started that show, Daiwa has been a supporter of it. So I've been lucky enough to actually go through a lot of these changes that you're talking about and product improvements. And man, your guys' stuff has just been getting better and better. If you guys are interested in seeing some of the Daiwa reels in use while we're kayak fishing, check out HobieOutdoorAdventures.com. Another couple of places you guys support us, our Hobie Bass Open series. We have a tournament coming up on Lake Sam Rayburn, and I know you were saying you fished there a couple times, right?
Bunch of times. One of my favorite lakes. Yeah, that lake in September, remember, lights out, frog fishing, love it. It's like the best place, and especially fishing lily pads and stuff like that. We don't get to fish a lot of lily pads out here in Southern California, so that place is really awesome.
Yeah, it's such a treat to get over there. We have, I think, around 85 anglers signed up for it already. Check out HobieBassOpenSeries.com for more details. We have other events coming up. We've been averaging about 130 anglers per event. We're paying out over $75,000 at the Tournament of Champions. So there's some big paychecks these anglers are taking home. You know, it's not uncommon for someone to walk home with a $7,000 to $8,000 check. You know, and we pay out 100%. Yeah, 100% of entry fees. Pretty much once we take out a fee for the Tourney X app and PayPal and stuff like that, we pay it back to the anglers. And so, on behalf of Hobie, Mark, know that we are very, very grateful on behalf of Hobie and the entire bass fishing community for Daiwa support there. You guys have been awesome. So if you're a bass angler and you're looking to get a new reel, make sure you check out Daiwa. You guys really help support us, and we want to give back however we can, you know? So.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We love that. And like I said, tournament angling, I fish a lot of tournaments, freshwater, saltwater, and there's something about it. I mean, once you get into that culture, it's just every day out on water, you're always competing, not with other anglers, but you're always competing against yourself, and that's super fun.
Yeah, for sure. And then one other thing I wanted to touch on is our Hobie Fishing World event. Obviously, with COVID, it's been a little challenging to travel internationally. And next year, we plan to go to Umal, Sweden, where we will be fishing for perch and pike. So that's promising to be a super exciting event. Thank you guys for supporting us there. And we look forward to traveling to global destinations and hosting kayak fishing tournaments. Basically, what we do with those events is we have 50 or so identically rigged pro angler kayaks with Lowrance fish finders, powerful micros on them. All of our sponsors chip in and help out. The anglers come in from, we've had events with over 20 different countries represented, and they'll spend about a week there, and it's a 3 or 4 day fishing tournament, and it's just amazing. I've seen people make friends for life, and it's something really special. And I think everyone there has kayak fishing in common, no matter where they are in the world, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, what's great about that is that, you know, we have our relationship here in the States. That actually sponsorship comes from Daiwa Japan and Daiwa World. So it lets everyone know that the relationship that we have with Hobie isn't just US, you and I, and you know, the people that we work with. Yeah. This is a world relationship, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that's true. It's and yeah, to give a shout out to our companies or subsidiaries or I guess mother companies that are based in other places of the world. You know, we work with partners in Australia and France and Netherlands to distribute our kayaks throughout the world, and I think it goes for the same way. So it's so cool to have social media and be able to have an international audience kind of see what we're talking about. Obviously, we're both living here in California. This is our backyard and our fishery right here, but you know, it's cool to get input, and also for both of us to get to travel a little bit and use the product in different parts of the world. So no doubt about it. No doubt. Well, cool. Mark, I don't want to keep you on too long. I know we're both just back from a 3-day weekend and got plenty of stuff to do. But where can we find Daiwa if we want more information?
Yeah, Daiwa USA, Daiwa.USA is what you're going to want to look for it. Any of the social media, Daiwa USA, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram and all that stuff. We just launched a brand new product. I'm going to talk to you guys about it first. We just launched the new the new Lexa TW 300 and 400. You guys, everybody's been waiting for that. It's the only saltwater reel that actually has the T-wing system in it. That's a huge thing. We launched it this morning, so you're the first people we got to talk to you guys about. So, which is great for your guys' fishing on that. So
yeah,
you're my platform.
We can start a media company here. No,
there we go. Hey, there you go.
I woke up this morning and, first thing went on Instagram. I saw that. I'm like, dude, I just spoke to you like a week ago and you just kept your mouth completely zipped. And I had no idea that was coming. So
I told you, like, what can we talk about? I'm like, oh, nothing. All right, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, no, it's so awesome. And I'm very, very excited to try that. And I'm sure a lot of the people watching here can't wait to try that out.
You can get about everybody's very familiar with our Lexa reels. They like them, no doubt about it. They cast really well, but with this TW or T-wing system, you'll get another 20 to 30% further casts and less backlashes. It's been waiting. Everybody's been waiting on this for years. And Mark, when are you going to build this? When are you guys going to build this, Daiwa? Guess what? It's out now. Cat's out of the bag.
Nice.
Should be able to get it in stores probably in the next week or so.
I'm going to have to sneak another one into my arsenal there. But so you make it.
I know where you can find one.
You make it in the 300 and 400 size. So
yeah.
From my experience kayak fishing, I love the 400. I've caught tarpon on them. I've caught tuna. That's my go-to surface iron casting reel for yellowtail. They are strong little reels, and just everything about them is bulletproof. And now being able to cast that much further, that's going to be a complete game changer. So excited for that.
Further cast, you've got an adjustable handle from 70 millimeters to 90 millimeters, and we have a very unique guide train on this. We use both a brass and a stainless steel pinion gear on that, and that's for better durability since it is designed for saltwater fishing. Catching big bluefin tuna on it. Believe it or not, the fish that you can catch on these Lexas is amazing, and casting heavy lures in and out of gear. So it's a very unique reel, and it casts further than any expanded low profile on the market, hands down by far. Guarantee it.
Wow, that's awesome. And then the 300 size is going to be kind of what your calico bass. What would people in other parts of the world or country use that for?
You know what? Here it's calico bass, our tight inshore fishing on swim baits. We're seeing a big influx of anglers in Florida fishing the 300, especially for snook under the bridges or up tight against mangroves, that kind of stuff. Striper guys use it. We're pretty much, all over the world, anything in that larger size, musky anglers, pike anglers, all that kind of stuff is really good. Both of those reels are getting 28.7 pounds of drag pressure. That's a ton of drag pressure. So what's being accomplished on these reels, it just keeps going up and up and up. So I'm getting ready to shoot a video on Friday to catch some big tuna on it. So we'll see what it can do.
I'll be looking for my invite. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll bring you a chunk of tuna, I promise.
Well, nice. I could see those Lexas really coming in as a choice reel at the Hobie Fishing Worlds for those pike guys. That's going to be awesome.
They'll be great for that.
Well, cool, Mark. Well, we really, really appreciate having you guys on from Daiwa, and can't thank you enough. Anything else before we say our goodbyes?
We got to find out. We got to pick the winner too on the 300
That's true.
win. Yeah. So
okay.
The winner, it was on there, is Jay Park of Charlotte, North Carolina. The Lexa 300 win. So
nice.
He's getting that.
There you go.
Yep.
Either some big bull redfish or maybe stripers. I'm not sure.
It depends on the time of year. They get them both, but I'm going to bet that he's fishing redfish if I had to guess off the surf. This would be good for him.
Well, awesome. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was going to just say, hey, thank you very much. Thanks, Hobie, as well. You and I need to get out there, do a little bit more fishing together. And like I said, you're going to have to get me to go out there and paddle a little further, kick on out there, out past the breakers. Yes. So I got to get in shape. I got to start running a little bit.
It's been too long. Summertime's here. And also, guys, if you are watching this and you kind of enjoyed it and you want to see more of it, we are going to, over the next couple of months, be having more of our partners on and trying to do some more live stuff like this where you can ask questions and get a little bit of an inside look at some of the partners that we choose to work with, because they make the best equipment for kayak fishing out there. Daiwa reels. Me personally, I can't speak more highly of them. And so thank you so much, Mark. And I think we're going to close off with one last little video before we go goodbye. But if not,
well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Stop number 6. This is one where you could see records broken. They're going to Lake Sam Rayburn, Jasper, Texas, June 5th and 6th. So now we're totally switching gears, and we're going from post-spawn straight into the summertime pattern. And Lake Sam Rayburn is so well known for producing giant, I mean giant largemouth bass, and you will see them in this tournament. On Rayburn, early June, definitely I would consider it an early summertime pattern. That deep brush pile bite is going to be really, really good. Fish that are done spawning, they've transitioned out in that deeper water, 15 to 30 foot, brush piles, outside edge of grass, that's going to be a key. But listen to me, on Sam Rayburn, if you like to fish shallow, don't worry, because there's always, I mean always a shallow water bite on Rayburn, and you can win flipping, especially if the water happens to be high. Don't count out the shallow water bite.